Thank you for getting the Presenters for Hire Real Estate 1 presentation. I am Rafael Pena Martinez, and I will be essentially guiding you throughout this presentation. If you have not seen the investing one or the money management, I highly recommend it since we are trying to keep it in a nice and orderly fashion. So that way, if you know about effective money management, then you can know about how to invest money that you have left over. And then if you decide to get into real estate, or if you just simply want to know more information regarding real estate, you are here. And this is the pre recorded version. If you would like the live presentation, feel free to book that as well. And if you want a one on one or a custom one as well, feel free to reach out. Without further ado, Presenters for Hire, Real Estate One, Rafael Pena Martinez. Now, for those that don't know, this presentation is for informational purposes only and does not constitute a complete description of financial advisory services. No information contained on this presentation constitute tax, legal, insurance, or investment advice. This presentation may be recorded for quality assurance purposes. Okay? That just means that I am going to talk about my own personal experiences, what I've gone through, and what you decide to do is on your own. So I don't want to be held liable for your decisions. Everything I say, take it with a grain of salt. Now, what is real estate? Well, many people think of land or homes or other types of buildings and structures as real estate. But is that just it? Or is there a little bit more to it? Well, the Uniform Standards of Professional Appraisal Practice, USPAP for short, is the generally recognized ethical and performance standards for appraisal professions in the United States adopted by Congress. And this is what they have to say regarding real estate. They define real estate as an identified parcel or tract of land, including improvements, if any. Improvements being a home, store, office building, or other type of structure added to the land, fences, roads, streams, and trees and utility systems on the land. And so the USPAP defines real property as the interest, benefits, and rights inherent in the ownership of real estate, including air rights, water rights, and mineral rights to any resource underneath or above the land. Now, for those that might be wondering, why is that such an important thing? Well, it is something important because when you think about it, that essentially means that you are able to buy land and anything that's below it, you can use it, anything above it or anything on it. So if there's oil, for example, you have access to that oil. And in America, you can make money with oil. Just saying. Those are hypothetical situations where mineral rights, if you have water, you might be able to sell that water, conservation, or to the city, etc. There's so many ways that you can use land, not necessarily just what people think of as, buildings. But, what or who is a real estate investor? Well, this is an individual or an entity, including businesses and nonprofits, that purchases, leases, or acquires rights to real estate. It's very important that you recognize you don't have to just buy property. You might be able to lease property or simply acquire the rights in order to be considered a real estate investor. Unfortunately, most people think of a residential or simple commercial unit being rented out, but that's okay. And they think that flipping is one of the only things that you can do. You buy it cheap, invest in improving and selling it at a higher rate to make a profit. I'm not knocking anybody down. I just want to broaden your perspective of what real estate truly encompasses and what are potential uses of it. Other real estate investment opportunities include, however, purchasing and then leasing mineral rights or water rights of a parcel of land. Like I said, if you find oil, if you find gold, You can immediately decide whether you want to go and pan for all that gold yourself, or whether you'd want a company to professionally do it for you and just give you like a percentage of earnings. If you bought the land, find some more, you know what I'm saying? Make a little money. You might also want to invest in a real estate investment trust. This is if you don't want to do any of that work regarding real estate, but you want to invest in professionals that know what they're doing. They pretty much own, and a lot of the times they operate very well. A good company will do it with a positive income producing real estate. Bad ones are in the red, and you have to be reading the paperwork to know which one is a good one versus which one is a bad one. Okay, you have to do your due diligence, do your own research. Or you could also invest in a real estate crowdfunding platform. These are platforms that enable you to pool your money in with other people, so that way it's leveraged risk. It allows you to invest with a small amount. You don't need all the money for a 15% down payment on a commercial building and whatnot. You and many other people who might only have $100 or $200 can essentially invest in larger projects. And this is pretty much what, real estate agents sell for a lot of people, but also professional athletes and whatnot when they want to buy teams. This is pretty much what they do, but they do it with much more money, of course. In this case, you're doing it with smaller amounts, starting with 100, 200, and of course, as you work your way up and you invest more, you get more benefits, much more of a rate of return. But in a perfect world, if nothing was to go wrong, what could go right? Well, historically, real estate has been one of the safest asset classes for investors. You have an ability for an investor to leverage their capital several times over. Real estate investors can use borrowed funds to invest in a piece of real estate property they could not afford to purchase outright, and then realize all the potential profit from ownership of that property, i.e., having a mortgage in a 3-unit apartment, and the rent pays almost 3 times the mortgage. That's something that a lot of people like about real estate. And that's why I said I'm not knocking down this nor the flippings, because just buying real estate, buying multi units, renting out units, maybe even living in one and having 2 units paying for you allows you to have a place to live rent free and collect money. Pay the amount that you owe and have some left over. And then if you have all units fully making you money, then you essentially allow yourself to make the best decisions financially, because if you can do it with that, then you can do it with almost anything else. And that's just one small little piece. But of course, with an increased leverage comes increased risk, because just due to the fact that you have those units, you also have much more things to do. But we're going to get to all the negativity. I just want you to be aware of, if things could go right, there's going to be important tax benefits. And with tax benefits, again, I don't have legal say regarding this matter. But a good certified personal accountant, it's worth its weight in gold. And so I would advise you to review this with a certified personal accountant, a CPA, because they're going to be the very ones to know all the legal terminology, all the IRS stuff. They're the ones to know, okay? The IRS treats real estate profits as capital gains, which are taxed at lower rates than employment income. Tax code allows you to depreciate your real estate every year. Lower real estate value per IRS, the lower the tax bill. Again, talk to the professional about that. I just am regurgitating what my tax accountant says. You have to have your own to give you that solid information regarding your value, your location, because every state has different laws, every state has different rates, they have different loopholes. I mean, not saying that I use any loopholes, but I'm just saying every state, every accountant, they specialize. If you're in Florida, don't get a Massachusetts tax accountant. I mean, not knocking down anybody that does that, but you know, look for the people that specialize in your local vicinity, especially where you're at or where your property is at, so that way they can give you the correct information and they can use the correct local loopholes. Just saying. What do I know? I just have an apartment. But again, these are the positive things that could go right regarding real estate. These are some things that could go wrong. Renting units. You can have vacancies, which means you're not making money. You can have tenants that trash the unit, which means you got to pay money to fix what they trash. You can have people that stay there not paying. You're going to have sometimes to take tenants to court. They're going to be high court fees, possible long delays of court processing. During COVID, there were long delays regarding that. And you have to remember that could happen at any moment in time. And unless there's a lot of judges, that's going to continue happening regardless. There's always going to be a very long backlog. It's expensive cost of taxes and maintenance of building, and expensive because some people are very cheap, but also because if you live in certain blue states, it is very expensive to own property, especially taxes. In red states, Republican states, taxes are very dirt cheap. It's like a cents on a dollar versus in blue states, it's very disheartening. Very disheartening. There could be a total loss due to no fault, like a hurricane, earthquake. Of course, you get insurance to cover, but you still lose something very important and very valuable. The real estate market could sour and lessen the value of your investment. Buying real estate and then you discover a large problem afterwards, like a bad title, taxes owed. You could also have something like a a bad like bug problem. You could have bad leakage. You have a foundation that's sliding, which is very dangerous. That's one of the things that I remember about reviewing with my real estate agent. Something that you need. Also, just an asterisk, also get a good real estate agent, especially a local one that knows the area much, much, much better than having somebody who's just not local, one, or and not passionate. Get somebody that's very passionate about their area or specific areas regarding the places that you know or they know, because it's gonna make it much easier for you to know, like, they know what they're doing. But anyways, when you discover a large problem afterwards, it's not usually a good thing, and it's usually expensive to fix. So you want to make sure that you do your thorough research. You get professionals to review, assist. Definitely get a estimate regarding an inspection and see from 2 or 3 different vendors and whatnot in order to review to make sure that there are no large problems in the units that you're looking to buy, because that's not something that you want to discover at like 3 a.m. in the morning that you got squirrels in the attic or something like that. Definitely not something cool. How to get started? Well, you got to figure out what kind of real estate investor you want to be. I just mentioned a few. You want to research the local market in which you will invest in. You want to research the vacancy and the rental laws. You want to, if possible, purchase stock in real estate companies, real estate brokerages, real estate development companies, construction companies, etc. This is part one, but in part two, I aim to have more specific, concrete, advanced information regarding specific uh, examples of different companies that you can use. For now, this is just a basic overview. If you want, you can research, of course, or you can ask us for additional information as well. I would definitely implore you, unless you're going to pay it off cash, build your credit, because getting a home loan or multi-loan and doing it yourself is good, but you have to have the credit. You have to have 2 years of employment in order to do that and whatnot. You have to meet certain criteria, but of course, if you don't want to or you can't, you're not eligible, you could buy a part of a real estate investment trust. And as mentioned, this is a real estate company, like a mutual fund, that they pool capital raised by investors to purchase real estate. They're either going for income which is they're going to be the landlords, or they're going to resale, which is they're going to flip. Again, you can decide whichever one you decide is the best bet for you. You can also go for the real estate crowdfunding, which enables you to pool your capital with other people and invest in real estate deals to leverage risk. Like I said, kind of like how those professional athletes pool their money together, just on a lower scale, since it gives you a variety of different options on getting started, because real estate, of course, is a limited amount of real estate on this planet Earth. I mean, I don't know what kind of Earth you live in, but on Earth that I live in, there's a very limited amount of Earth. And so if you keep getting land, or you keep buying into businesses that are income producing, green, they're positive, they're not losing money, you're essentially almost guaranteeing, again, not financial advice, but I'm just saying this is what I've done and what I'm currently doing and what I'm pursuing and increasing my portfolio regarding real estate. And I'm trying to give other people the opportunity for them to realize that this is something that is within your grasp as well. And these are just the smallest ways to get started. This is, again, part one. Part two is going to have much more in-depth information. But if you need help in creating a budget, then I have the guy for you, because Presenters for Hire is limited in what we can do for you versus what we can teach you. Companies that have legal constraints and whatnot, but you can book a session with FIP Solutions in order to get a personal session, an in-depth review regarding your personal finances and your realistic real estate options within your budget, as well as he'll assist in getting your credit score and seeing what actionable steps you can take in order to get that process started. If you want to reach out, his name is Fred. Linktree.ee/FIP solution. And when you book a session, just let them know that you came from the Presenters for Hire Real Estate 1 presentation with Rafael Pena Martinez. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out directly. Of course, any questions whatsoever, any custom gigs that you want, any additional information, feel free to send that. And please, if you really liked it, if I provided any value, if I helped clarify anything for you, if I gave you more ideas regarding real estate, feel free to drop a review, and feedback is greatly appreciated. If you saw that I could have improved in something, please, again, give me any feedback. Even if you thought I did something horrendous, let me know. All right? Please. It will be greatly appreciated. With that said, I hope that you had a spectacular time learning regarding more about real estate, and I hope that you are interested in either the live in-class sessions via Zoom or via Google Meet, as well as custom gigs that you would like us to do as well, because we are more than welcome to do custom gigs, as we are Presenters for Hire. Rafael Pena Martinez, out.